War? Who? Yeah.
Welcome to The Big Puzzle. In this podcast, we explore the subtle connections between science, religion, politics, economics, and history. One piece at a time, we unveil the big picture of this shared experience that we call life.
So the topic of the moment seems to be population collapse, right? So people are talking about the impact that is having in societies, the reality that couples are not having children. And well, obviously, one thing that is significantly impacted is the social security, especially because people are retiring at the same age than before, but they're living way longer. And without being replaced in the workforce at the level that they were in the past, well, obviously there's problems in the future. And some countries like Japan and South Korea are already struggling pretty bad with that. Europe is getting there, and this connects also to immigration and assimilation and who is going to be working for you to retire, who's going to maintaining the economy so you can use your retirement to live. But today, so the idea is to talk about something that I haven't heard anybody talk about, and it's very, very important. And to do that, we will connect first another piece of the puzzle. And we're going to be talking about war. So, in a battlefront, you are either attacking or defending, right? And surprisingly, defending is easier than attacking. And the reason for that has to do with mental processes. When you decide to attack, you made a decision. Right? You're being proactive. And you need to abandon the safety of your position and moving towards the risk. So that puts you in a very unstable mental state where you're questioning, am I doing the right thing? The defender not only feels the safety of the position, but also they are reacting. So they have made the decision. And the only thing that they could do is, just face the attack, right? Face the threat. So, yeah, it's kind of counterintuitive that it's easier to defend than to attack in a battlefront. But there's something that is way, way worse than attacking, and is retreating. Why retreating is so difficult? Well, for several reasons. So one has to do with that when you're returning, you're actually facing kind of two fronts, because you need to, be attentive at people who will be obviously attacking you when you're returning. You also abandon the safety of your position, so you made a decision which makes you again that unstable state of mind. But also you have to pay attention to what is behind you, right? So you can't just walk backwards. You have to sometimes give your back to the enemy, to know where you're going, and you probably are facing some of the defenses that you set up behind you. Right now, they opposed to you as much as it's opposed to the ones who are attacking. So retreating is very, very difficult. Sometimes you have to leave equipment that the enemy will capture. We've seen that, in Afghanistan. Obviously, if you like World War II history, well, you can think about Paulus. After the battle in Stalingrad, when they got into the pocket, and ended up very bad for them, luckily. But retreating is very, very difficult, in a battle. And sometimes people rather surrender than retreat. Now, how do we connect this to the population collapse? The thing that nobody's talking about, at least from what I heard, is the impact in infrastructure. So I will be talking mostly about water because that's my expertise. But these same concepts apply to electricity, to gas, transportation, commerce, sewers, sanitation. They all follow the same problem. So what is the problem? So when let's say that you want to create a water treatment plant and a water distribution network. You usually start by creating a model that would tell you, okay, how many people will live here, will need this service in the next 10, 20, 30, 50 years, right? The assumption is that the population will be growing. So you would be designing most of the infrastructure for the future. You're designing bigger plants, bigger tanks, bigger pipes. Everything is bigger than what you need today because you need to make sure that these things that you're building will last for a few years before you have to invest again. That means that the people who are receiving the service, they're overpaying. Right? But so it's expensive at the beginning, but it gets cheaper when the population grows and basically they fit the design horizon for that you thought. That is how you do it. The same thing applies to electricity, to internet. You have to invest in the future. Why is it more expensive? Well, first of all, you're designing pipes that are bigger than what you need today, right? But not only that. So, for instance, in water, when you treat water to make it drinking water, you need to make sure that the last house in the series of pipe receives the quality of water that's still drinking water. And the way you do that is you have to calculate how much chlorine you have to put, in the plant that chlorine would last, until it reaches the last house in the land. And sometimes you have, injection of chlorine at different points, but you don't want to put too much chlorine because it tastes bad. So that is part of the problem. You're actually treating a lot of water that will be just standing there in the pipes, moving very slowly until the population grows, and then the water has to move faster because there are more people consuming it. And at some point, your infrastructure is small. You need to build another pipe, and other things, and so the process repeats itself. Well, how do you do that when the population is retreating? You can't. You can't plan for infrastructure that reduces. So once you build a treatment plan, you can say, oh, now I need half of it, now I need 1/3 of it. What would you do? How would you do that? Right? So when the population gets reduced, it produces this very difficult problem that things become more and more expensive. Your service becomes more expensive because you have to split the cost. That is, the fixed cost is very big between lower number of people. Now think about this. So the problem with Social Security is that you have less people working to support older people retiring. The way you do that is by creating taxes. So people are burdened with those taxes. The younger population, the workforce, are burdened with those taxes, and that discourages them from having children. Children are expensive, so you have to pay more taxes to maintain, this older population, so you won't have children. So you're making things worse. Well, with infrastructure, you're making it even worse. Let's say, like I mentioned, this applies as well to supermarkets. Once you put a supermarket, if the population goes away, well, you can't demolish part of the supermarket to feed the new population. So either you sell things more expensive to make it profitable, or you just leave and people have to travel more. Think about transportation, the same thing. So would you have a bus that goes to a neighborhood where only one person lives? Well, so that's why the retreating population, it's a very difficult problem. It adds to the economic difficulties of the working people. And so how could you address that? Well, if there's freedom, it's very difficult because people will live wherever they want, right? So housing should go down. Houses will become cheaper because there's more supply, less people are buying. But so you would go anywhere. You wouldn't go to neighborhoods that are densely populated. Naturally, you will try to find, what is cheaper for you. But that creates these problems because now somebody has to provide all the services, all the infrastructure for a very sparse population. In authoritarian countries, well, maybe the government could decide, nobody lives here anymore. Everybody needs to relocate, and we will shut down, this part of the city with all the infrastructure and whatever, and basically create ghost towns all over the place. So this, I think, it's a very important thing that people are not considering, and it's something that should be included in the discussion. If the population is going to keep diminishing, how are we going to handle these problems, right? And what are we willing to do? Unfortunately, I don't have the answers, but I would like to hear your thoughts. If you want to leave some comments, what you think about this problem. Am I missing something in this analysis? And well, as I said, this will be a short one, but I still hope that it's interesting enough. So if you like it, please like it formally by clicking the button. Again, subscribe if you find it interesting. Share it with whoever might find this useful. And well, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.